Hi everyone, my name is Ann. Welcome to Art on the Creek and welcome to colorful Colorado. You know, this is a photo of Pikes Peak. I took it last year. It's one of my favorite angles. It's just looking west at the mountain from Colorado Springs. So this weekend, my brother was in town. We decided to take a drive up to the top, and on the way we passed Long Scraggy Peak in Deckers. I just love the name of that mountain. Here are some of the turning aspen as we ascended the peak, and before you know it, you are above timberline and the weather changes. It was 85 degrees down below, and below is about 6,000 feet. And then here we are nearing the top, and the temperature dropped considerably. There were snowflakes in the air. Leo got to see his first bighorn sheep, and I guarantee you that was a big thrill for him. He was pretty excited about those big dogs with horns. Here is Catherine on top of the mountain with Leo, and you can see the terrain is very, very rugged up there. Here we are, Phil and my brother on the right, and then me and Catherine and Leo on the left at the summit of Pikes Peak, 14,115 feet. And let me tell you, we did feel the altitude. And despite taking all the precautions, drinking extra water and taking it easy, we were very tired the next day. As you can see Leo falling asleep as I'm petting him. He's sitting up falling asleep. So we did have a day of rest after we got back. My brother's gone back home now. He lives in San Francisco, and I have gotten a surge of creative ideas. This time of year, my creative juices are really flowing. So if you're ready, let's go see what I'm thinking of today.
Hi Leo, are you happy to be back in the studio with Mom? Oh, you're gonna take a nap. Okay, you relax and we'll go paint.
Hello again. Well, as I was explaining in the introduction, I go through a real creative burst this time of year, kind of end of summer into fall. I really just have more ideas than my brain can handle. And that's kind of what's happening in my studio. Remember that nice, pristine, clean studio I showed you? I've got boxes everywhere behind me out of camera. So it's because my brain moves too fast. My brain moves faster than my body. I can't possibly create as many things as I want to. So first of all, I wanted to get out the Saunders Waterford again. This is this 100% cotton mold-made paper, the acid-free journal that I purchased with deckled edges, and I really love it. This particular book is cold press, so we're going to work on this. Maybe I'll do it this orientation. And I'm going to use, not this paper, but when I open it, I think you'll see Peter Rabbit again. Yep, there he is. I'm going to use this, the lid. You'll need anything round for this. I have this for yet another project that I'm going to show you, but you can use this lid too. Whatever you have that's round, I'm going to try this one. I've seen a lot of people do this, and I kind of wanted to try it. And then I've got something in this box to look at later. But for what I want to do first, let me move this box out of the way so it's not tempting me and distracting me, because it will. There we are. All right, and I've still got these paints out that I've been using. These are the palette I made up. It's it's a Da Vinci palette that I filled with Isaro and Michael Harding. And I just left it open here. It's still kind of curing, so I still want to use it. But I really love these paints. Oh my goodness. And I've got one Schmincke Horridum in here that is a Yintico red. Really, really nice. And it's very granulaty. This was one that I painted with channel members. I painted seal using that one. So we're going to try and incorporate that one today for you guys. So I put together this palette. Granted, it's not, it's probably not perfect. I probably could have spread the yellows apart a little bit further, but one of them is slightly warm, one is slightly cool. I've got ultramarine and cobalt. Ultramarine is a warm blue. Cobalt is kind of a neutral. This green is so subtle, but it's a good mixer and it's not a bully. It doesn't overtake things. And then, of course, we've got burnt sienna, burnt umber. I've got a Isaro rose, like it's actually a PR 122. And then we've got a PV19 in a quinacridone rose, and then, of course, a pyrrole red. I really love pyrrole red. It's just a good primary red. I really love it in my mind. And then we've got Isaro purple, and this green, like I mentioned, is a PG18 and emerald green. It's kind of unique. So this has been the palette that I've been working from, and we're going to use this again today. So I'm just going to set this up here, and I can link to everything in the description. So what I want to do with this, and you guys have probably seen this already. Let me prep my paints. I'm going to, come on, water. There we go. This is just water that I'm spraying on the paints, if it'll come out. I need to refill it, I think, to just kind of get them primed and ready to go. I am going to use, I think I'll use this brush. This is a Canchon Call number 3/033/0 is how I've always said it, but now that I look at it in print, I don't think that's right. So I don't know. If you know the answer, go ahead and put it in the comments. I'm going to start by making a wreath. And what I'm going to do is to go into this burnt umber. And I kind of want to make the paint a little bit thicker, because what I'm going to do is to use this round form to print. So let's see if we can get this to work. Now, I have not practiced this. You're seeing this first time here with me. So fair warning, everything I've tried that I've seen on Instagram has failed in some way. So let's see if we can get this one to actually cooperate. So just kind of paint it around the edge with some fairly thick paint. Let's see if we can get it to print. Just hold it down there for a little while. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I know it's light, but I'll show you what we're going to do. I'm going to now go in with some burnt sienna. And I'm not cleaning off my form. I know I've stayed zoomed in here for you guys, but be patient. We'll just kind of coming around this here. And now I'm going to offset it just a little. Doesn't matter where. And I'm going to put it down again. My hand was kind of shaky there. I guess I've had a lot of coffee this morning. How am I doing? Yeah, I'm a little shaky today. Oh boy, my friends. I've just had family in town, and we had so much fun. Oh, look how cute that is. My brother came into town. He lives in San Francisco. Sorry, I'm interrupting myself. I'm going to now mix. I think I'm going to do a little bit of this burnt umber, and I'm going to mix some ultramarine in with it. Kind of want to get this one to be a little bit darker, kind of a gray. So let's paint this one around. So anyway, my brother was in town, and we had so much fun. We went to Pikes Peak. The weather was perfect, and actually I just keep saying we went to Pikes Peak. You guys could look it up, but I will tell you it's about an hour south of where we live here in Parker. And the altitude, of course, is high up there. It's 14,000 feet, and it got to me a little bit. So now I am going to cut back to the footage here, because before I print this, do you see how there's an intersection here and here of sorts? I kind of want to stay near that intersection for this guy. Don't have to, but I just kind of thought that might give it a good look. So anyway, we went to the top of Pikes Peak, and I was so thrilled because the excuse me, hit the camera. The leaves were starting to turn already. And that was just delightful for me. Now I've got a brush that is a number 1. And I am just going to pull some of this a little bit like so. And here I'm going to try and go all in the same direction, just making little twigs. Now you kind of have to work a little bit quickly, and I'm just pulling, you know, you're not going to get all of them, and that's okay. Just pulling some of these dots out just to take advantage of them. So that's why you have to work quickly, because it does dry. But that's okay. We can come back in and paint more in, which is what I'm going to do. Just want to give this a little look of, you know, some of these vines coming off of here. All right, so that's about all I can do there. But now what I'm going to do is I'll come back in with this burnt umber and I'll make some more vines. Do you remember those grapevine wreaths? When were those so popular? The 80s, the 90s? I don't know. It was almost like in the United States, if you had a grapevine wreath, that meant you knew what was up. You were on the pinnacle of the decorating front. I had one with dried berries. I think they were like white berries. And it hung on our porch for a very long time. But even those tend to kind of look old. And they get, you know, worn out. All styles kind of get worn out, don't they? And then you have to try to find new ones. I'm just going into the gray now, and you can see I'm really being very free with these lines. I'm just really turning the brush like this as I go. So I'm really just kind of doing whatever strikes me, which is what I really enjoy about art. I like how it makes you feel so free. What is your favorite thing about creating art? Let me know in the comments. I just did a video for Viviva. They've come out with a meditate with art kit. And, you know, I really like that, and it's a good idea. I'm always, I don't know, whenever I'm creating, I'm in the zone, and I have never looked for other kinds of assists to get in that zone. And it's funny because I always think, well, who would do that? Nobody does that. Because I don't do it that way. That's always my first knee-jerk reaction, which is probably pretty bad. But then when I try something new, I get it. I can see where this would really be beneficial. And that's kind of how I felt about that Meditate with Art kit. At first I thought, well, this is kind of silly. Who would want to go into a very quiet meditative state and then try and create something? Because a lot of times when I'm creating, I'm really focusing hard, as many of you know, because that's when the camera goes out of focus and I forget that I'm filming, Oh, I like this section over here. But, you know, I don't know. I guess my point is that I really enjoyed, in a surprisingly happy way, the Meditate with Art kit. All right. So why do you create art? I feel like sometimes when my brain has creative ideas in it, it's almost a burden, and I have to have that outlet to get that idea down. And this time of year, like I was saying, for some reason, oh my gosh, for some reason, this time of year, my brain is literally teeming with ideas, and sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes it's kind of hard to keep up with. So this is one of those ideas that I saw, and we're just going to do something quick and simple here and just have fun with it. Is that too close? I'll zoom in. We'll put it right there. Okay, so now let's put some other things excuse me, on our tree here. Let's see. What I want to use is, I'll go back in with this quill brush here. And if you don't have one of these brushes, a number 6 round would work really well. The advantage of a quill brush is that it's very absorbent, and you can get a lot of paint in there. So now what I'm going to do is just add some berries on here. And we're just going to do this in groups of 3, random places. Same thing, just real random. And I'm using that Yintico red. It is a red. And the Yintico stands for, and I'm probably going to have to do a voiceover here, yttrium, I forget what the I is. It's IN. And TI is titanium, and CO is cobalt. So you do get a lot of that great granulation. And yeah, it's pretty fun. So anyway, this is these little fall wreaths, I kind of feel like they're fun to do, kind of this little grapevine wreath situation where you have just a little bit of showing end of the season kind of things. So we've got some berries, we've got the wreath. I just kind of placed them wherever I thought they would look good. I wasn't really even thinking too hard. Now what I want to do is to go in with this brush here. This is a Jackson's No. 5 Studio brush. And I'm going to add some little acorns or pine cones. So for that one, I think the first color that I'm going to use is the burnt sienna. And I'm just going to add a touch of ultramarine to it. I don't want it to be a gray. I just want it to be kind of more of a neutral brown. There we go. And for all intents and purposes, you could just go straight in with the burnt umber. But let's put some little acorns on here. Let's see, where would one look cute? Maybe right here. And I'm making these kind of small. I'm just doing the base of the acorn right now. And now I'll come in and do the little cap, keeping these really sketchy and loose because I might have to come in later and do something else with that. So let's see, let's put one down here. Here's the cap and then the base. These are just real sketchy, real loose. And now I'm going to go into this gray and kind of give it a little bit of a shadow on the side here. You know what? I just think I'm just going to go get a little bit more of this ultramarine. I might have to come in here with a little bit of a ink pen and kind of define these guys a little bit better. There we go. And because it's round, we can definitely turn it. And let's just add some more little acorn bodies. I'll put one about here. And then maybe one up here. Just kind of doing what shape is that? Kind of a horseshoe shape. Just really making these sketchy and loose. I'm not putting a lot of detail into these guys. In fact, I'll zoom in so that you can see just how loose these are. They're really just a little sketch of an acorn right there. And then I'll come in with some ultramarine. Oops, sorry. While this is wet. And I'm just dropping some in just to give that a little bit of shape, kind of a shadow. So let's turn it again and we'll put a couple more of these little babies. Just keeping it small, keeping it loose. Just kind of having fun. And at this point, if you wanted to, you could just do these with an ink pen. You wouldn't have to go to this trouble of painting these tiny little acorns. You could do it with an ink pen for sure. And you could argue that these don't really look like acorns, and that is okay. You can make your wreath however you want, because that's another reason that I like to create art, is because it's something that I do just for me. It's something I do because I wanted to do it, because I enjoy doing that thing. And the only person that I really have to be happy, who has to be happy with it, is me. And I kind of like that. Kind of like that I don't have to worry about, what is someone else going to think? What is someone else going to do? And, you might say, well, gee, Anne, you're putting that on YouTube. You kind of do have to worry about what other people think. But that's not what I mean. This act of creating, that's the part that I find so relaxing and so wonderful. And I don't know, this time of year, like I said, my brain literally teems with ideas, and I don't know why. Someone told me once it was because my birthday's in the fall, and that might be true. I like dropping this ultramarine in on top of these because I like the way that it's separating when it dries. All right, now let's go in and kind of do some leaves. Oops, same brush, I've still got this number 5 round. And I'm going to go into this green here. I think I've mixed it with a few things in this pile, but I'm going to go ahead and activate that and just use that green. I think I mixed some yellow in with it or something. But you'll see when I get in here that this green really is very, very light. All right, so it makes sense that we'd have some oak leaves because we have the acorns. So let's try putting one here. We'll keep it small as well. One lobe here, one lobe here. Come out here with another one. There we go. That works for our purposes, and then we'll come back and add some definition to all of these things. But I kind of like that for our basic oak leaf shape. This is a much easier way to do it. And I think I can add one more actually. All right, so what I have done for the oak leaves is this. I am starting at the top with that piece, and then I'll pull another one down on either side. Do that again, one more time, and then kind of connect them. There we are. One going this direction. And it's okay if we can see the branches through it. It's absolutely fine. This is part of the beauty of watercolor. Put one off this direction here. And now we'll have another one coming down here. None of these have to be perfect. None of them have to be actual oak leaves. It's just however you want to doodle it. There, now I think I'm going to add some leaves of different shades and shapes. So I'm going to go into this Pyro Red here. And then I'll go into the first orange I have on here, which is a Sorrow Yellow Light. It's a PY154. We're going to get a good strong orange here. There we go. And what I'm going to do with this one is use the same brush and just create some simple, easy leaf shapes like so. And after every time you add an element, you want to look to see how it's looking. And I do like that. Let me mix up some more of this orange, because what I want to do is to just drop some of this into these oak leaves here, a little bit randomly, just to kind of suggest that they are turning, or about to. And by the same token, we can take some of this green and drop it into some of these orange leaves, suggesting that perhaps they haven't turned all the way yet. There. Now, as far as a delicate little wreath goes, honestly, I kind of think that's enough. I'm debating whether or not to do some splatter, and I think that would be a lot of fun. So let me go into my ultramarine here. I do like a good splatter. And I will tone it down with just a little bit of the burnt sienna. Kind of a dark blue-gray, nice and juicy. And then we can splatter with it. I found that it's easiest to splatter if you have, do it this way too, if you have a brush that's very thirsty and your paint is very juicy. And that, my friends, is it. Let me make sure I can get it dry so I don't smudge anything. So there you have it, simple, short, and sweet. And I have a brown fine liner here. And what I'm going to do with that is just sign my name. I think I'll put it right about here. Debating whether or not to go around these with a fine liner, and I don't think I want to. I think I'm going to leave it just like that and let you know that if you wanted to, you could put Happy Fall in here. If you want to do some lettering, that would be great. But just for now, this is a really fun thing to do, very relaxing, very quick, and don't forget to clean off your whatever you used for your round form. Don't forget to clean it off when you're done, and then you can put it back where it belongs. Thank you, Hanamule, for creating the perfect size tin. If I can get this cleaned up. Kind of made more of a mess with that. Okay. So there's our wreath for today. And you could put a motif in the middle. And that's what we talked about a little bit with the lettering. Let me zoom out just a little bit, and as promised, I will show you what I got for fall. This is a company that I ordered from called Lolo Yaya Stationery. And it's just a bunch of little spooky things. There's some tapes in here, some washi tapes that are spooky, some papers to use for crafting, little things like that. And you can take these and of course cut around them. But look at that elephant ringmaster. Isn't that creepy? I like that one. Here's some more little creepy skeleton things. Just fun to do some Halloween spreads with. I'll probably get these out on the channel and use them for some inspiration. I really like this one here. This one is one of my favorites. This guy. he is really creepy, and I like that, and I think that would be really fun to paint something like that. So we might use these for some inspiration. Of course, here's a classic, It, from Pennywise the clown from the movie It. So these are just some fun things that I got. I just wanted to show them show them to you real quick, and we will use these in a future video. Let me open one of these tapes so that you can kind of see what they are. They are, here we go. They're kind of like straight on one edge and cut to a shape on the other. So for instance, this has a little tape on it. There we go. See that? That's kind of cool. It's all just a little conglomeration of spooky things, and they're all in different color families. This one is kind of browns and rusts, which would look kind of nice here on my page if I decide to put something on there. So, you know, just something fun. I like to journal now and then, and these are just some cool things I got that I thought I would show you. I'll link to everything in the description, and you guys enjoy having fun with the end of summer. See you next time.